American artist Grant Wood's masterpiece, Spring Turning, depicts a 1930s rural America with lush green hills and fields in this scene of idyllic farm life. The painting entered the Ranolda House Museum of American Art collection in 1991 as a gift and is one of the museum's most beloved works of art. Managing curator Allison Slaby talks about the painting.
Grant Wood lived in Cedar Rapids, Iowa for most of his life, and he painted the people in the land of the Midwest in a really clear, readable style. In Spring Turning from 1936, we can see some influence of modern abstraction in his work, like the interest in geometry and simplified forms. But the overriding emphasis is on recognizable subjects painted in a representational way. What's really memorable about the painting is the sensuousness of the land. The hills just seem to breathe and undulate, glowing with brilliant color. The painting was completed in the middle of the Great Depression, and it was a time when the industry and commerce of the city were crumbling. With Spring Turning, Grant Wood was responding to the condition of urban areas during the Depression by making a strong statement about the health and vitality of the agrarian way of life.
During a recent condition survey of Ranolda's paintings collection, Spring Turning was found to have several conservation-related problems, and treatment for the painting was then scheduled. The most notable condition issues are the large traction cracks seen throughout the painting, especially in the rolling hills and areas of the sky and clouds. Along with the cracks, we also see significant yellowing of the varnish layer of the painting. Varnish naturally yellows with age and changes the perception of the artist's palette, not allowing the viewer to see all the variations and nuances of color originally intended by the artist. Conservator Ruth Cox talks about another condition problem that is actually a result of Grant Wood's technique.
The wide aperture cracks and the shriveled paint that we see in different areas of the painting have occurred because of how Grant Wood manipulated his paints. In this case, it's because of the way Grant Wood both layered his paint and also the amount of oil content and the amount of solvent that he added to the paint during the painting process.
Conservation treatment of a painting starts with a thorough examination and written condition analysis. The backing board is removed and the reverse of the painting is examined. Then, the painting is observed in a dark room using both raking light and ultraviolet light. Raking light, which is a glancing light, allows the viewer to see deformations and insecure areas that could not be seen in normal light. It also lets us see brushwork in high relief. Ultraviolet light allows us to see layers of paint applied years ago in previous treatments. These layers show up as darkened areas.
Clues that we've gotten from the examination in different types of light and under different lighting sources now lead us to looking under the microscope to see specific problems up close and personal.
Next, tests are performed to determine the appropriate solvents for the safe removal of the varnish layer. In the profession of conservation, the philosophy centers around the idea of reversibility. Using materials that can be easily removed and that do not disturb the artist's original paint layer is of primary importance. The varnish removal is the most critical and delicate part of the entire treatment. Old additions by past conservators are removed very carefully without damaging the original work of the artist. In this shot, you can see the sharp demarcation of the area of the painting that has been cleaned and the area that has not been cleaned. The next step in the process is to address the large traction cracks covering the surface. Losses and cracks in the paint film are filled with a synthetic gesso in order to bring the paint film up to a uniform level overall. This helps to reduce the severity of the cracks. With patience and expert skill, the cracks are slowly filled.
After the paint film is filled and all the losses are compensated, we put the painting back on the easel and begin the retouching phase of treatment. The first step is to underpaint those fills and pinpoint losses in the paint film with watercolor paint.
One of the final steps In-painting replicates the surrounding areas and colors. In-painting requires technical proficiency developed by the conservator over time with years of practice. Filling in only what is necessary, the conservator carefully matches the paint color and texture of the artist's work. A protective varnish layer is applied upon completion of the treatment. Cracks and discoloration no longer detract from the beauty of the painting. Now that the paint is secure and the treatment is finished, Spring Turning is ready for the museum to exhibit and for visitors from around the world to view and enjoy.